Alright, man, we about to go live. My boy Jose Ramirez about to tune in. It's about to load in, man. ¿Qué pasa, campeón? ¿Cómo está, man?
Lalo, ¿qué dice? ¿Qué dice, compa? ¿Cómo anda?
How you doing?
Tranquilón, ya sabe.
Yes,
Just working.
And hey, tell us about your fight, man. May 22nd against Josh Taylor, man. This is for all the belts, man. For the WBO, WBC, IBF, and WBA, man.
Man, por todas las canicas, brother. Tú sabes. All the belts, it's one of the biggest fights in boxing. You get two undefeated fighters in their prime, both Olympians. They both, have two belts each. Doesn't get better. So it's a big fight, man. It's a good fight. It's a fight you guys don't want to miss. May 22nd. Ramirez Taylor for the undisputed junior welterweight championship of the world. It's gonna be good.
This is a chance for you to make history, man. I mean, no Mexican, ever been undisputed, and this is your opportunity, and I think you're gonna do it, man.
God willing, man. We're working hard. I'm very confident with myself, with my own skills. Man, I'm hungry. I'm inspired. This fight is bringing something, something in me that I haven't, shown before. It's bringing this passion. It's bringing this drive. Man, I'm loving every second in the gym. Every morning at 6 a.m. when I wake up and go do, my hills. Man, I'm pushing myself. I'm pushing myself like never before. Es una pelea muy grande. Es algo chingón.
It is, man. How motivated are you, man? I mean, it don't get no bigger than this. It's like the biggest, man.
This is for my legacy. Lalo, this is for my family. This is for my ethnicity. This is for my community. This is for all my fans who've supported me since day one. This is for all the people who've been true to me. This is for all the doubters. This is for everyone, man. This is for man, it's big, man. It's gonna really might open up the door for me to be in the Hall of Fame. I'll tell you that much. So to be the first Hispanic undisputed, es algo chingón, algo que suena bien perrón, pues ya me lo imagino, pero aquí estamos echándole ganas.
How are you mentally and physically, preparing for this fight?
Physically good, man.
I see you train a little bit, man, and you've been explosive, bro. I mean, you were hitting them fucking bags and fucking thunder, bro. It's crazy.
That was 4 weeks ago, man. I'm already doing 9 rounds of sparring, 3 different guys, man. I'm pushing them, and I'm sparring 2 160-pounders and a 147-pounder. They were all southpaws, and some they all have different styles. Some could box. The 160 could box really good. One is 154, 160. He's really fast, and then the 147 is he's more of the bulky, to really to grind, to really find the inside. So I'm trying to mix every single way, just to adjust and change it up, but be ready to fight, man. Be ready for for a war. So I just want to show Taylor, bro, something that he's never seen before. I really want to put him in a spot that he's never been in. And estoy bien animado, man, honestly.
Hell yeah. I got a hell of fans ask me, when are tickets going on sale? They're that excited about this fight. Is there any, update on that as of now?
What's going on?
Is there any when tickets go on sale? Because I got a lot of fans, telling me.
Man, this is there's no update. I hear they were supposed to have something for me last Friday, and they don't say nothing. So that's the only little part that has me a little frustrated, for my fans, because they're looking forward to it. And I find like this is for them to have everything ready to go, a venue set, tickets, on sale. A fight like this, they should have been prepared. It's a big fight, not just for myself, but I think for overall boxing is one of the top fights to that people are wanting to see. So I'm sorry for all the people out there that are still waiting on the tickets, man. I wish I could tell you guys an answer, but no sé muy bien. I really don't know.
Okay. Yeah, man. I know you, a little bit, and I know you're a humble ass person, bro. And Taylor been, running his mouth a little bit, man. And I know you do the talking in the ring, but you got me and Rick, the Rick Marine. We do all the talking for you, but you do it in the ring, man. So tell me about the shit talking. Taylor's been doing a little bit. Does it bother you or nah? Not really. Or is he
No,
scared?
no, Lalo. A veces, sometimes, people like to motivate themselves, and pump themselves up a little bit, and sometimes they want to hype themselves when they're starting to, to overthink the situation, so they overhype themselves, but my style, my persona, I'm calm and collect, brother.
Yeah,
I'm gonna come to fight. So
or at
all,
least.
all the words, all that drama, though, it's not me. It's never been me, and I'm not gonna change. And I'm calm and collect. I know the guy respects me. And he knows he's not gonna face me, bro. So se ha calmado un poco. He's kind of quiet down. He knows he needs to spend more time in the gym than talking. Because this is a fight that he knows I'm gonna bring it. And I'm gonna bring it. And if he doesn't, he's gonna find out.
Yeah, that's true. And I know you do a lot for, your people, Arrasa, for the field workers and all that. Can you tell, the people what you do a little bit, man? Even for the water crisis, you did events and stuff like that. People don't know that about you. And,
Yeah, here in California, we went through a water drought in the year 2008 all the way to the year, well, probably started in 2006, 2007, but it became very noticeable in 2008 all the way to around, it lasted maybe 7 years. Um, so around 2013, 2014. But anyways, I my whole family worked in the fields. The community I grew up in, it's a farming community, so I know that my neighbors, my friends, the people, they need those jobs. They need those jobs to survive. So when there's a water crisis and there's a shortage of water, there's no future jobs. The farmers can't farm as much, which means if they can't farm as much, they can't provide the jobs they usually provide. So it affects everyone, man. If people ain't making money, the economy is not making money. If the field workers aren't out there working, uh, the prices and the foods, it goes up. Like the tomatoes, the lettuce, everything goes up in prices. When there's a short supply. So we started using me and my manager came out with the idea to start using my platform, boxing fights in the central part of California, to bring awareness and really fight for a proposition or a bill to get passed in the state of California. A bill that was for money to be granted to projects that were going to emphasize in creating water storages, like reservoirs or artificial lakes, to storage the water. So when it does rain, we have water. So when it doesn't, um, the bill got passed thanks to the awareness from all of us, not just myself, not just the boxing, but there was a lot of uh, good leadership out there, fighting for the bill. And it was Proposition One. Many probably saw it in the ballot in 2013, and it was for water storage, and it got passed. Unfortunately, the money got sidetracked. It went to more environmental water projects. But we started getting good rain. Mother Nature, started sending us more water, more water, more water. So we kind of backed off. But I'm telling you this, Lalo, in order to have future jobs and be comfortable and be really at peace, we have to have some type of water storage, and they can't be messing around no more. They can't just rely on Mother Nature. What if we go through a drought again in the next couple, incoming years? So we emphasize on the water. I donated money to my community in Avenal so they could be a part of be a part of what's going on. I, helped a lot of the field workers, bringing money, donating money for supplies for them to, to have, given to food banks, donated money for the Cancer Institute. Used to fight for positive issues, and I got behind a pro-immigrant and proud campaign that we pushed for a couple of years to bring, awareness for the hardworking people that deserve to, to have their residency, that deserve to be able to work without that fear factor of being deported, and including the DACA students, the DACA kids. Uh, so just an immigration reform that was gonna, I fought for immigration reforms as well. So a lot of it, has to do with, politics and stuff like that. So I don't want to emphasize too much, but I did make a lot of trips to the state of California, to the capital in Sacramento, to
Yeah.
Virginia. I talked and sat down and discussed different opportunities with different politicians. Um, pero sí, me ha gustado used to ayudar a la gente. Like there's a lot of people that that really don't speak out. And our people, they don't complain, Lalo. They work hard.
Correct.
They contribute to the United States, man. They all they do, all they want, man, is an opportunity, and as long as you give them a job, man, they'll be happy, and they don't complain. But I think there's, you have to draw the line. Sometimes they deserve more than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I focus on that, bro.
Yeah, man. So that's the real champ. You're a champ inside and outside the ring because you do a lot, for your people and shit. And a lot of people, I just want a lot of people to know that that's what you do. But my next question is, if you beat not if you beat, but once you beat Taylor, is
Mm.
147 next, or I mean,
Uh,
people been running his mouth a little bit, and I don't know what's up with that. Would he stay? Would
well,
he?
it seemed like these days a lot of the new boxers, or the ones that turned pro in the last 3 or 4 years, it seemed like they're taking that path, to promote themselves, to talk a lot, to call upon some fighters, cause some fights, early on, so they could start getting that recognition, get noticed, and a lot of the fans believe them, so I can't really get mad at that, but right now I'm so focused on this fight, but there's a fight that I'll stay behind, maybe it'll be because the MTK, they manage both Josh Taylor and um, Jack Catterall.
Yeah,
And Jack Catterall he was a mandatory for Maurice Hooker, but when I took Maurice Hooker's title, I the title came with Jack Catterall as a mandatory. He came with the title. So I did my defense against Victor Postol for the WBC mandatory. So MTK had a talk to Jack Catterall to step aside, as MTK global manages both Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor, for my fight to Josh Taylor to happen. So they did promise the fight to Jack, so he might be next. But there's only one guy that that if I do stay at 140, it'll be against Teofimo Lopez, man. He's the only one that's been talking a lot. Anda motivado, anda contento porque le ganó a Lomachenko, but I'm not Lomachenko, man. I'm a strong 140 pounder, yo creo que le pego, honestly. If not, I'm with 147. I've been in my whole amateur career, my whole professional career at 140. I think, who knows? I might let my body just, I'll let it grow, and just kind of let it develop. And I might be a strong 147.
correct,
Right
correct.
now, I have to diet myself. I have to make sure I stay close to 140, because if I let myself lose a little bit, it'll be hard for me to lose it. I am 5'10". He's so grande.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you are tall for that division, and shit, hell yeah. So, when you were young, man, what fighter inspired you to box? Are there any fighters that you looked up to when you were a young kid?
Yeah, Lalo. as a kid, I remember in the block and the community of Avenel, and they used to invite us over to watch the Chavis and Oscar De La Hoya fights. Um, and they're both, I would say they're both. Chavis, he's the most liked Mexican fighter in the history. To this day, he's like Mexico's favorite son. You
Yeah,
know,
that's what he told me the other day. I interviewed him. That's what he's told me.
and then Oscar De La Hoya, man, I ain't gonna deny it, bro. Like Oscar De La Hoya, like that's who I kind of, from a non-boxing fan, because none of my family, watch boxing. I'm the first one to do it.
Yeah.
We were like more like a soccer, we went to soccer, bro, football. And
What? Real quick.
what was that?
That's right.
Chivas, man, Chivas.
All right.
Yeah, we were Chivas fans, man. And so I would say Oscar. Once I started educating myself in the sport, I saw what he did. Becoming an Olympian, bringing a gold medal back, going pro, becoming world champion, and starting a promotional company. I felt like I felt like he did it. He did it right. With the endorsements, with what he did as a Hispanic, bringing back the gold medal in 1992 in Barcelona, to becoming a world champion, to creating a promotional empire. Those little things that I wanted. I wanted to take his path. Becoming an Olympian first before I went professional, because I saw that having that Olympic status in your name, like not too many people could say they became Olympians. See, a lot of fighters might say, you know what, I could have made it, and I could have become an Olympian, but it was time for me to make money, or, I got injured, all these excuses, right?
Yeah.
But in the reality of the truth is, Lalo, is not too many people could say they became Olympians, um, and I know it might not mean a lot to a lot of people, because you don't get really wealthy unless you do other sports in boxing, but you don't get wealthy off in boxing to become an Olympian. But I think it's something it's something you can always tell your kids, that you represented something so big, not just having a community of 10,000 people, but a whole country,
Correct.
and so I knew that becoming an Olympian was going to open up more doors for you as a professional. So I took that path, and it was guys like Oscar that motivated me to take that path to become an Olympian first. Pero ya when I really got into the boxing también más, and I started watching tapes, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard, um, Salvador Sanchez, El Finito Lopez, all those guys, man, they really, I was able to watch them, and I fell in love with their styles, and I was watching them on obviously in the internet, but I fell in love with those styles.
Okay. And you just mentioned Mike Tyson and Chavis, and how do you feel about them? Coming back to the sport as doing exhibitions. Because there's a lot of
But
boxers.
listen, man, when they call it exhibitions, that's fine,
Yeah.
But when some other guys with no experience are calling it boxing fights and making it, getting the fight sanctioned as a real fight, as a professional fight, then that brings, that kind of hurts the sport, because it gives the idea of the people that what we do is not that hard, you know, and 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 it's giving false hope to a lot of people, because there's guys like YouTubers, coming into the sport, but they're facing other non-boxing fans, non-boxing guys either. They're facing guys with no boxing experience, and um, they're making it seem like they're like winning this one gives them a shot to the world title. But at the end of the day, if the people want to watch them, you can't get mad at that, Lalo. I can't focus on that, bro. I'm gonna do my part and do what I know, what I could do, and stay focused on my career. I'm not gonna think about other people's pockets or other people's careers or in general. There's enough money in this world for everybody, bro.
Correct. Correct. So, do you watch boxing? Like, do you keep up with the sport?
Yo, la verdad, Lalo, casi no.
Um,
I'm a very simple guy, man. I like to go home and kick back with the family, man. I have a very simple lifestyle, bro. You know, I'm very I got a ranch. I spend a lot of time on my ranch. I got some animals.
How many
Um,
you got, man? I know you got a lot of roosters, man.
yeah, so I have a lot of roosters, bro. A lot. You know, and got some chivos. You know, I'm trying to bring in some horses in. Um, unos borreguitos, and maybe some cattle. You know. But I do. A lot of people don't know, bro, but I like to invest a lot of my money, you know, and so I have a lot of small little business outside of boxing, you know. I try to be my own entrepreneur in my own way, you know. I'm trying to create my own little real estate empire, my own little empire with bonds and mutual funds. I'm trying to invest in other startup companies. Uh, so I like to kind of emphasize on my business education and what I know and who I know, you know, to come out with different ideas and just to create my own little, you know, financial empire that's gonna set me up for life, you know.
Correct, correct. So, once you beat Josh Taylor, do you believe you're finally in the pound for pound, like in the list? Not a lot of people, you know, want to put you on there, but I put you on there regardless, man. I think you've done a hell of a job already in your career, and I think I mean, they got to put you on there no matter what. What's your thought about that?
It's people's opinions, Lalo. You know, people, even, you know, even ESPN journalists, even the Ring magazine, all those, you know, whoever makes a pound for pound box rec, it's just based on opinions, you know.
Yeah,
It it means something if you let it mean something to you. You know, I never been a big fan of that. Never. Not when I've been not when I've been number one on box rec. Not when I've been number three on box rec or four or even 57 when I first started. Um, it don't mean nothing, bro. You know, in this life, you ain't gonna please no one. You know, everybody. You know, you're not gonna please everybody. So no matter how good you do, no matter how well you do, there's always going to be those who are going to say, you know, who's going to have that criticism, you know,
yeah,
that one that something to say that's going to make them argue the fact that you're not on that list for that reason, or that you're not number one for that reason, or number five or number six, or depending on how long the list is. You know, some people have a list of 20 fighters, some people have a list of 3 fighters, some people have a list of 10 fighters.
correct.
So you're not gonna please everyone. So my job is to take one fight at a time, to put those gloves on y sentirles el golpe, sentir la vibración, you know, that vibration of my fist. And then enjoy the glory with my family and the people that I love and the people that I respect the most, you know, and even with the less fortunate, you know, if I could share some of my glory, I will, you know, I'm happy to do so, you know, and if I motivate people and people think the best of me, I appreciate them. Si no, no pasa nada, tranquilo.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is your favorite thing about your boxing career? You know,
The privileges that I've been able to get to my family, Lalo. I have my son in a private school, very good school. Even through this pandemic, you know, they closed down for a couple months until they got to know more of the pandemic. But then, you know, they opened up and they kept it very, very, you know, they kept all the very safe for the kids to go back, and my son was able to go back, and he's 5 years old, so it's important for him to go to school during this age. You know, it's an important time of in their lives to, you know, take everything in. So
correct.
that's a small privilege, and it's, you know, it's a pricey school, but I'm able to afford it. You know, the house, the safe community that I live in. I was able to start a business for my father. We're labor contractors, so my dad has his own he's you know he's now his own boss, so he has time for us, he has time for himself, he has time to enjoy my mother, you know, go on vacations, uh you know, and you know that's the thing, those are the things that I enjoy the most, you know, is watching uh, you know, their expressions, you know, that they're in a much better place, and you know, and they're less stressed. You know, my job is to, you know, I'm gonna sacrifice. You know, I'm gonna take some punches. You know, I might get cut here and there. I might bleed here and there. I might slip. You know, real good for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, but it all pays off. I do this for my family to enjoy. I don't want them to have to suffer. So knowing that the sport is paying off, that's what keeps me the most pleased, because now I'm in a very good position. I'm making good money. I've been making good money. I do smart decisions with my money, and to be honest, I feel like even I'm in a position where I don't have to fight tomorrow. I really don't have to fight tomorrow. I could bring in, more than what most people could imagine a year, just on interest rates, just on my real estate, just on investments that I have, uh, without touching my principal. But I love what I do, and I could do things. I could do the sport not for the money, not for nothing else, but just now, just uh, now the glory, the glory the glory that I know that I'm gonna feel, to know that I was the best to ever put some gloves on.
Okay, okay.
And because also, like, when you do so many good things, people want to have an undefeated world champion in front of them, leading them, open up the path for them, to open up the path and to be a voice. So I know my biggest fans. I know the people that support me. I know the issues that I support. La raza en la agricultura, the agricultural, hardworking people. I know they feel comfortable when there's a world champion undefeated, speaking for them. So I want to stay that way.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So my next question is, if you could have one dream fight against anybody, in the past or present, who would it be and why?
Timothy Bradley. I don't think.
Yeah. I heard he ducked you, man.
Yeah.
That's on the
No,
street.
he went to Australia he was getting into the commentating, and he went to go commentate on the Manny Pacquiao when he fought the Australian guy.
Yeah.
And when he came, and I went to Beverly that same week, days before the fight. I went to Beverly Hills to Bob Arum's house, and I looked at the contract, and I was gonna get paid $250,000. He was gonna get paid, I think, 1.5 or $2 million. And I was happy to make 250,000. But I just wanted the opportunity to fight someone like him. And then jump. And when he came back, he decided not to go through the fight. He had said yes, but when he came back, he said, "You know what? I think it's best if I just, retire." But I'm not saying he does, man. Just he knows his body. He knew his body, and he knew when it was time for him. And there's nothing wrong with that, Lalo. It's not an easy sport, bro. So he was just probably ready. But the way he commentates, man, he. But anyways, no, on a serious note, I think maybe maybe Chavis, bro. Chavis at 140.
That would have been a good fight, man. Both styles would collide, man.
Para sentir la chinga, para sentir una buena chinga. Para sentir una buena chinga del campeón. Para sentir lo que no ha sentido todavía,
Yeah. Yeah. It would be a good one, man.
Yeah.
So let's see. What else? It's okay. My last question is, how do you want to be remembered at the end of your boxing career?
Well, I'd be thankful if I was to remember as a hardworking person, just overall as a hardworking person. I want people to say, you know what, despite his style, despite his persona, he was a hardworking guy. He worked hard. And I'd be happy with that, man.
All right. That's all the questions I got, champ, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. It's all love.
Cuídate mucho. Bendiciones.
All right.
Arre pues. Take care.